For the moment, we shift our attention to South Korea. Their economy is going through a rough patch. So what does the president do? He turns to the country's most successful family business, Samsung. Just one problem, though. Samsung's de facto chief, Lee Jae-Yong, was imprisoned for bribery. So this week, he was granted a presidential pardon, a ticket out of prison. The release comes with the expectation that Lee will push Samsung into an overdrive and in the process rescue South Korea's economy.
It was only the question of when, not if. Lee Jae-Yong will get his presidential pardon next week. He was already out of prison. Lee was released on parole last year. It happened under the watch of the then President Moon Jae-in. Moon's successor, Yoon Suk-yeol, is pardoning nearly 1,700 people. Lee Jae-Yong is one of them. The pardon also solves another problem for Lee. As a convicted criminal, he couldn't have returned to Samsung in a formal capacity. Now Lee gets a free hand to do business.
As major businessman, Samsung Electronics Vice Chairman Lee Jae-Yong will be given a special lottery. Lotte Group Chairman Shin Dong-bin will be given a special pardon and lottery.
He was accused of bribing Park Geun-hye, a former president. The revelation had serious consequences. Park Geun-hye was impeached from her position. She was eventually put behind bars, and Lee followed her to jail. Park got out last year in December after a presidential pardon. Lee had to serve a 30-month-long sentence, but he is getting out after spending just 19 months in jail. That's because the South Korean government needs him. South Korea's economy is dominated by a handful of family-owned conglomerates. They are called chaebol. Samsung is the most successful of them all. The company's 15 biggest subsidiaries account for 20% of South Korea's GDP. Samsung's electronics unit is a force in exports. 16% of the goods exported from South Korea come from this unit alone. Seoul wants Samsung to maximize its output. South Korean economy is going through tough times. Over 40% of the country's GDP depends on exports. In recent months, business has been sluggish. The war in Ukraine, growing inflation, and slowing demand has reduced the global appetite for South Korean goods. South Korea now needs the chaebols to step up. The government is not shy of admitting it needs help. In a statement, Seoul said Lee's pardon is an attempt to overcome the economic crisis. Lee, too, had something to say. In his statement, he promised to do his best for his country. His pardon is not rare, neither is it unprecedented. South Korea has a long history of bailing out business leaders in trouble. Lee's late father, Lee Kun-hee, was pardoned too. He was given a presidential pardon twice. So the tycoons in South Korea have a habit of getting away. An opposition leader summed it up the best. He said in South Korea, you are free if you are rich, but guilty if poor. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.